NFC South Roundtable, how are we doing? It is the usual suspects back at it again for another video coming at you guys with a preview of week 8. Guys, can you believe we are just about at this point? We're creeping up on about halfway through this football season. I feel like it's absolutely absurd. Like football, it goes by way too quick. You have so much emotions going on from like week 1 to week 8 to week 16, but the NFL season is starting to come to its peak. This is where football matters the most, and we are going to break down this upcoming week. Of course, today's video is brought to you by BetUS. You guys can right now, when you guys sign up, use the promo code YouTube150 like you see on the screen. That is YouTube150. You'll put yourself in for an exclusive limited time offer of a 150% sign up bonus on your first deposit, followed by a 125% sign up bonus on your next 2 deposits, all the way up to $2,000. That is a deal on your first 3 deposits when you guys sign up right now. BetUS, the best damn sportsbook on the platform. I use it. All the guys here use it. Everybody at Roundtable Sports exclusively uses BetUS because there is no other sportsbook on the damn platform like them. BetUS can also give you a 200% crypto deposit bonus. You can get a 10% back on your net losses 2 times a year, and they can give you your very own personalized account manager. The betting variety with BetUS 2 is absolutely absurd. I've never seen anything like it. Not only can you bet on NFL games, but you can bet on NFL futures. Who's going to win Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year? Right now, for, well, probably just you right now, Clay, is probably who's going to be betting on this and Panthers fans. But, I mean, Travis Hunter, right? I mean, he's the talk of the draft already. And with BetUS, you can bet on, is he going to be a wide receiver or is he going to be a cornerback when he comes to the NFL? You can even bet on politics with the debate right around the bend. You can bet on entertainment, college football, basketball, baseball, horse racing, fighting, you name it, and BetUS has it. We could not be here without BetUS. Please remember that supporting the sponsors that support the channel directly supports everybody you see on the screen and everybody at Roundtable Sports. But please play smart. Please pay responsible. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. And as somebody you know or love is dealing with an issue, please reach out and get that proper help you need. In fact, if you go to BetUS's website, they have a page dedicated in getting you that help for gambling problems. So again, shout out to BetUS and have a little bit of extra fun this upcoming football season. But fellas, let's start breaking down week 8. And Clay, I want to start with you. Your Panthers, they're going up against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, who they've definitely been in a mixed bag, right? They've definitely gotten a little bit hotter as each weeks have gone on, but definitely very inconsistent. What are your thoughts about this game?
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers are a dumpster fire this season, folks, and it's time for people to realize that, and Panthers fans need to realize that and just accept the suckness, all right? They've got the league's worst point differential at a jaw-dropping minus 133. They've gotten blown out on the road 3 times, average a loss by 32 points. So there was a fluke with that win against the Raiders because we're starting to see it now, but that's like finding a unicorn in your backyard. So the Broncos have had extra time to prepare after slapping around the Saints on Thursday Night Football. So can rookie Bo Nix handle business at home again? Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to kick our ass against this pathetic Panthers team. Give me the Broncos in this. If you're a bet man, give me the Broncos. Heck, take the money line or even take the spread. It's minus 7.5. If you're betting with BetUS, I would take it because I think the Broncos are going to win 29-20.
All right, TJ, let's go over to you. What do you think about Panthers and Broncos?
I think that this is going to be it's going to be destruction, man. I mean, I just look at Sean Payton. I mean, Sean Payton knows the Carolina Panthers. I mean, it's just that plain and simple. And if you combine the fact that they have one of the best defenses in football, Bo Nix is not very good, but you know, you got some talented players on that team, and you have Sean Payton scheming it up. So I think it's going to be a blowout, to be honest with you. I think that you're probably going to see probably early in the game because, you know, Denver's offense kind of starts slow in games. You'll probably start seeing, you know, things kind of nip and tuck, and then you'll start to see Denver kind of pull away. I think that this game isn't going to be close. I think that Denver is probably going to score like 27 points, and Carolina's probably going to score maybe 13, 14 points, something like that.
All righty, Smitty, talk to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what they said, man. Sean Payton, Is already 2-0 against the NFC South, blowing out Tampa and blowing out New Orleans. And Carolina's next. He knows the division, like TJ said. He coached in it for 16 years. So he knows the weaknesses of all the teams. He's going to exploit that. I agree about Bo Nix, but one thing about Bo Nix that I don't see in this division, except for my Falcons with the quarterback position, he has heart. So he will be able to put up some points. But I think Denver's defense is going to take this game over at the end of the day. And I think they can run the ball successfully against this Carolina team. So I'm going to take Denver probably by 3 touchdowns, man.
Ooh, all right. All right. And James, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Carolina Panthers are already a team that's struggling both offensively and especially defensively now. And look, Denver has not had the best offense in the world this year, but I don't think this game is going to necessarily be close. You take the one positive from the entire Carolina Panthers, and it's an offensive player, right? And now they're going up against the best defense in the league in the Denver Broncos. I just don't think this is going to be close. I have the Broncos winning by multiple scores, and Sean Payton continues to just still beat the crap out of NFC South teams.
Alrighty, well, that is your preview and your predictions for the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. Let's go ahead and let's head on over to you, TJ, because your Saints, obviously, starting off hot in the beginning of the season, falling off pretty roughly over the last few weeks. They're playing against the Chargers, who are coming off of an L2. They started off as a pretty good team, but definitely have showed their weaknesses and inconsistencies. Do you think that this is a game where maybe the Saints can get back on track?
No, I do not. Look, this is much deeper than just some roster moves, guys coming back. They're trying to get the fan base excited. Oh, Taysom Hill's maybe playing this game. Chris Olave coming out of concussion protocol. Look, nobody believes in this football team right now in 2024. It's just the reality, man. I ain't trying to be Debbie Downer. It's just the reality. This team will not reach its full potential until Dennis Allen is gone. They had a little mini bye. Guys got away from the facility, able to do some of the things they wanted to do over the weekend. But look, they talk about all these meetings they have and all of these group little sessions that they had to try to improve certain things. You haven't been able to tackle. Your run defense is awful, and you're going up against a team that has the number 1 rushing attack in all of football. You also have 2 really good pass rushes going up against an offensive line that is made of paper mache. It's basically like, you ever go to those Friday night football games and they just running through the paper? That's the Saints offensive line right there. So you expect for everybody to get excited about, a couple guys coming back. Yeah, you'll probably put up some points, and maybe you'll have Spencer Rattler play a little bit better now that he has some weapons at his disposal. You have Taysom Hill coming back. You can kind of lean on him. Chris Olave, the number 1 receiver, coming back. You also signed Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He's a guy that can win those 50-50 balls for you. But all in all, I mean, Justin Herbert is one of the best quarterbacks in football. You already lost Paulson Adebo, and you basically have been allowing teams to do whatever they want to do with you. I mean, Bo Nix, if he was accurate, I mean, he probably would have, threw for like 300 yards against the New Orleans Saints. I mean, it's bad, man. I don't expect for them to win this football game. I expect for them to score more points. I expect for them to kind of be, close in the game because of who's coming back. But it's just going to, just set it up for even more disaster when they try to win a football game and they still lose because Dennis Allen is their coach. And it's going to come down to him making a decision over a coach that's actually competent in Jim Harbaugh. And we're going to pretty much see what we already know, that the guy's in over his head. Saints lose.
Smitty, what do you think about this one?
I agree with TJ wholeheartedly, man. Justin Herbert, man, it's time for him to snap out of it, man. He's thrown for a lot of yards the last couple of weeks, but his touchdown numbers aren't up there. So this is the game where he probably pops out, throws 4 touchdowns, and like he said, they're one of the top running teams in the league. J.K. Dobbins probably gets 150 yards from scrimmage this game, so it's not going to be close, man. And you still have Khalil Mack and Bosa on the other side, and you pair that with going up against a rookie and Spencer Rattler. That's a recipe for a disaster, man. I'm taking the Chargers in this one big. I'm going probably 35-14 or something like that.
35-14. So a big win there for Justin Herbert and the Chargers. James, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game for the Saints. I have them losing, I'll say 24-13, let's say. I think that, again, the Chargers are a pretty old school built team where it's just a hard hitting defense and, again, a top tier rushing offense. And that's what the Saints have been struggling against lately is tough defenses. Offensively, Spencer Rattler, I think, is going to get beat up most of this game, unfortunately. He just doesn't have the weapons around him right now, minus Alvin Kamara. And I think defensively for the Saints, they've been struggling. They allowed 277 rushing yards to the Bucs. They allowed a good bit of rushing to the Broncos, and that is going to continue, I believe. I believe TJ, whenever he says that the Saints are a team that looks lost, that looks like they're not buying into what their coach is selling anymore. And now I think that they're really going to be in evaluation mode going forward. See what guys they want to hold on to going forward, what guys are going to be under consideration for starting spots next year. Not just because of the poor play of this team, but also because of a lot of the injuries that they've been dealing with. So all of that to say, I think the Saints are too beat up, and I just don't think they're talented enough right now to compete with the Chargers team, who honestly, like, I still think they're kind of a middle of the pack team. Like, I think right now their ceiling is a wild card-esque team. I just don't think the Saints can hang right now.
And all right, Clay, why don't you end us off here for this game? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the Saints defense has been downright pathetic lately. They've been giving up an average of 42 points in the last two losses. Meanwhile, the Chargers are riding high on a short week and haven't let teams score more than 20 points under Jim Harbaugh's watch. So, meanwhile, I feel bad for my boy Spencer Rattler. He's been sacked 11 times in his first two starts. So good luck with that, buddy. But give me the Chargers 22-17.
Short, simple, sweet, to the point. Didn't even need to think about that one. Seems like a pretty easy one there for you, Clay. But hey, look, we got a big in-division game. I think this would have been a whole lot bigger if, unfortunately, sorry, James, I'm not trying to bring up your trauma here, buddy, but if those injuries did not kind of surface themselves here in week 7 with Chris Godwin and obviously Mike Evans too. But let's give the floor to James and let's give the floor to Smitty. Smitty, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts about this in-division game?
I know it's injuries on both teams, man, but divisional games are always tough, man. It's just no way around it. The teams always know each other, and they play and they go all out. I know they have injuries at the receiver position, but he still has Sterling Shepard, who he played with at Oklahoma, so he's familiar with him. He has Iden, who had a big game against the Ravens, so he still has weapons in Baker Mayfield, who I'm speaking of. But Atlanta has to come out and go to their bread and butter. We saw it last week. When they came out with 4 passes to start the game, I knew it was going to be a shit show after that. But, again, if they stick to Bijan and Tyler running the football, I think they can control this game. And I think, they jump out fast, and I don't think Tampa will be able to catch up, mainly because of the injuries now. Tampa also can run the football, and Atlanta is giving up 140 yards a game running the football. So, again, that is a recipe for another trap game. So, I think Kirk Cousins has to bounce back this week. Run the football, use play action, get the balls to those receivers, Darnell Mooney, Drake London, and push the ball downfield. Because just like the first matchup, I don't think they'll be able to stop you in the middle of the field. Like I said, those injuries are going to take toll, and we know Todd Bowles is going to dial up a lot of blitzes, but you have to counter that with, hot routes, getting the ball out quick. And I just think Atlanta has a great chance to win this football game, mainly because they can control the clock. Now, they haven't been able to sack the quarterback, but I feel like putting pressure on Baker, trying to make them one-dimensional, I think that helps that. So I'm taking my Falcons in this game, probably by, I would say, 27-21.
And James, what do you think about this?
I agree with Smitty where, this could be a trap game for the Falcons. Look, I'm sure a lot of people view the Bucs as a team that went from potentially being a team that can win the NFC South to a team that, I mean, gosh, maybe in like some people's worst case scenario minds, might not even win many more games this year, right? And I don't necessarily believe that is the case. I've talked about it before, and I'll talk about it again here. Look, you got to move forward with what you have, and we've seen some good things from Liam Cohen as offensive coordinator of the Bucs this year. Jalen McMillan has gotten a lot of praise, even here in the NFC South Roundtable. Same with a guy like Trey Palmer. Those guys are going to have to step up in a big way. Cade Otton is coming off of a 100-yard game, but a big thing, and Smitty talked about it, is the Bucs have actually found a bit of a run game here in the past couple of weeks. They had 277 rushing yards against the Falcons. They had over 100 rushing yards against the best rushing defense in the league in the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to be who they have to rely on in some ways. Like Smitty said, you can't become one-dimensional because that won't be good for your football team. So I think the Bucs can win this game if and only if they cannot let what happened in the first matchup happen in this matchup. You're obviously not going to win a game if Kirk Cousins passes for over 500 yards and just eats you alive in the middle of the field, right? You're going to have to see some types of adjustments. You're going to have to change your game plan, right? Because this is it, in my opinion. If the Bucs lose this game to the Falcons, they're not winning the NFC South. This point blank simple is that the NFC South will be won by the Falcons at that point. There's no other way to put it. The injuries to Mike Evans, the injuries to Chris Godwin are obviously very, very unfortunate. But now more than ever, you have to see Liam Cohen step up as a creative play caller, Baker Mayfield step up as a quarterback. The guys that you have left have to step up. The offensive line is still healthy. That's a good thing, right? You got to keep Baker Mayfield protected. You have to get after Kirk Cousins. I thought that the pass rush last time just was not really able to get after Kirk. Kalijah Kancey is going to be healthier. Vita Vea is going to be healthier. Those guys are going to have to step up. Antoine Winfield Jr. and Jordan Whitehead are going to have to help out over the middle of the field so they are not absolutely devoured by Darnell Mooney again, or by Drake London, or Ray McLeod again, or even Kyle Pitts, right? And of course, you've got to stop Bijan Robinson and now Tyler Algier, who's stepped up the past couple of weeks as well. So this is going to be a very tough matchup. I can see this as a trap game for the Bucs. I will say that they will surprise the Falcons here because it is the NFC South, right? And nothing can ever be easy. So I will give the Bucs the win here. I said that it will be a close one. They do get a bit of a revenge here. Last one was a close game that went to overtime. I'm going to say that this one's a close game as well. It's going to be a 24-21 victory for the Bucs.
Ooh, despite the injuries, maybe the Bucs come together and they rise together. McMillan, the rookie, finally goes off. And you know what? Maybe we overhyped, right? Maybe we overhyped the injuries to this team. I absolutely love it, James. But let's bring in TJ, let's bring in Clay, and let's get their thoughts on this game. TJ, let's start with you.
I think this is going to be a good game. And I think James hit the nail on the head. I mean, when you're playing divisional football, everybody knows everybody. I mean, everybody knows what a bodies are buried. There's nothing new under the sun. So you have that going for you. I think that Tampa felt like the last game kind of slipped through their grasp. They had the opportunity to try to kind of seal the deal late. Of course, we know about the Bucky Urban fumble, that kind of cost the game. There was some controversy about a face mask, but it was an exciting game. You can tell that both teams felt like they belonged in that moment. They felt like this was the game that they needed to win in order for them to kind of flex their muscle and show where they are as far as the pecking order of the NFC South. But when I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I know that they're short of, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. But just like James said, when we had our very first show, we talked about the best wide receivers in the NFC South. And we said that Tampa they had the best. And it wasn't just because of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. It was because of the depth that they had. I like Trey Palmer and I like McMillan. I think that they're two really good guys. You seen Iden, he was stepping up, making plays. I mean, he was catching like that was some big boy football Caden Iden was playing. I mean, he was getting tattooed, but he came down with the football. That's what you want to see. And that's what Baker is going to have to rely on. And the one thing, if you're going into a game, you're down your two best offensive weapons, you cannot turn the ball over. That's one thing about it. Atlanta, I will give them credit for. if they get a turnover, they're going to make you pay the price. They're going to cash it in some way, somehow. Baker Mayfield has got to be able to protect the football. If he does that, then I think they'll have a chance. I like the running game. I like the young wide receivers. And I think that this team is going to be motivated because they felt that they should have won the first game. I got Tampa winning this football game.
Ooh, this storyline is going to be very interesting to recap when we recap week 8 next Tuesday live at 7 p.m. Eastern. So far, we got Smitty going with the Falcons. We got James going with the Bucs, and we got TJ going with the Bucs. Clay, wrap us up here. Who you taking?
Yeah, grab your popcorn because this is going to be a good one. Everybody remembers that shootout in week 5. Kirk Cousins threw for over 500 yards. But the Bucs were so close to steal that game. And, only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. All right. So Tampa Bay's got a short week to prepare. Atlanta just got their asses kicked by Seattle, losing by 20 points. Can Kirk Cousins go 3-0 on the road with the Falcons? I'm rolling with Baker Mayfield at home because let's face it, he might just be the lesser of the two evils here. So I'm taking the Buccaneers 31-27 over the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, Smitty, looks like you're
Wait,
the
what's
only
going on,
one
man?
taking the Falcons,
Clay
man. What do
still
you
mad
hear
about
about
that
that?
30-27.
Smitty, what you think? You're
Clay
the only
still
one
mad.
taking the Falcons. After all these injuries, how do you feel about that?
I hate that, man. They went against me, but I got a feeling I had it last Tuesday.
Oh, all right, guys. Well, this is going to be an interesting one. And boy, oh boy, either these three are coming at Smitty next Tuesday or Smitty is gaining up on these 3 dudes here. It's going to be a fun one to talk about again when we recap week 8 next Tuesday live at 7 p.m. Eastern here on the NFC South Roundtable. But guys, that is going to end it for today's video. Please, please, please leave a big like on your way out. It helps support us massively. Please subscribe here to the NFC South Roundtable so that you guys do not miss any single time we post or go live. Make sure to subscribe to each of these guys' individual channels. Links in the description box below. Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, like I always say. Make sure you guys, again, go ahead and check out BetUS to get that exclusive limited time offer of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, followed by 125 on your next 2, all the way up to $2,000. We appreciate you guys for watching, and we will see you next week.